In this video, I want to talk about an individual who goes by the username of Timo Super Goku. Many people know him as Timothy. He gets around quite a lot. He's in a few communities here and there, and he has a reputation, unfortunately, of stalking women. The reason that I put a lot of emphasis on women is because the women involved in this situation believe that Timothy stalks them a lot more aggressively than he stalks men. I'm going to let Vampiric Ruins explain her side of the story, and then I'm going to add some points of conjecture, and then we can go based on that.
So, how I met Timothy and dealt with his stuff was at the time, me, Skinny, and a few others were defending Maya at the time because Maya made a few videos and stuff about Timothy stalking her for like a year, and then it would have been almost 2 years of his stuff because I guess Timothy wanted friends and he kept spamming DMs and whatnot. And from Maya's testimony, it just bothered her and she just blocked him and whatnot because he was being an annoying little shit. So when Maya made her videos and community post, I reshared some of it, especially the videos, especially one from Skinny at the time. And I remember stating like, that's weird that, you're stalking women and everything and whatnot, especially after Maya stated that, she doesn't want to associate with Timothy or whatnot. And Maya put us in a few group chats with Timothy to talk to Timothy about his behavior or whatnot. So it's kind of the like, oh, defend me. I can't make any more videos because I keep getting removed or whatnot kind of thing. So kind of using us to our advantage. But talking to Timothy was like pulling fucking teeth. So I had a few videos of my own when it came to the Timothy situation. And it was the calls and all that. Sorry, I'm trying to wake up a little bit. Um, so when Skinny and I and a few others, made our posts and videos about Timothy's behavior, he left Maya be. And then a few days later, he pretended like nothing happened. And this was around December because originally he was on a break for like a week or two. And then he just came back around talking to me. Now I let it slide for a bit because I was kind of like, well, if you got your shit together, whatever. But then it got a little bit more weird because every time I made a new video, every time I made a new community post, he would just talk on every single one. So it bothered me a bit because I was like, well, I already know how you are because of Maya. You're making me uncomfortable. You're making me uncomfortable now. So there was one time I stated like, "Hey, can you stop commenting on my stuff and everything because it's very weird and it's getting very stalkish at this point." And that's when he made a few community posts on one of his older accounts or the current one, but he deletes his post and was going off at me saying, "I'm not stalking anybody. I'm not doing this. I just want friends. I can't handle when people say that, they want to move on or want nothing to do with me," kind of thing. Like he has like a very childish demeanor, and basically, as you can tell, if you tell him no or you tell him like, "Hey, can you leave me alone?" he gets very like he throws a tantrum and like he'll just not know when to handle now. And if you tell him like, "I don't want to be your friend at all forever," that kind of thing, and want nothing to do with him, he again, he just throws a tantrum and he's like, "Well, I can't handle forever or anything. Can we talk again in like a few days or next week or whatnot?" And there was a few times I explained where it was like, well, after the stuff that I've been hearing in your history, I don't want to talk to you at all. I don't even want to be friends with somebody like that. And he would get mad about it. And there's a video where it had Skinny Bones involved and everything at the time because not only was he stalking me, but he was also stalking like other people I associated with. So Skinny was one of them and all that kind of shit at the time. So we're trying to have this conversation telling Timothy, like, it's really embarrassing and, you're acting like a child and you don't know what no means. Like, no means no. I don't know if he's on the spectrum or whatnot, but I'm not excusing it because it's like I'm autistic and I don't fucking act like that. So there was a few questions, I'm pretty sure in my older videos, where we asked him if he does this to any other woman. He said no. But it's obvious that, he did it to Maya, and then he started doing it to me. And then a little bit to Skinny Bones, but mainly at me. So that's when I started to notice, like, okay, so he can stalk another person for a while, but if you're a woman, he's going to stalk you the most. So again, that made me uncomfortable or whatnot, because not only that, I'm also dealing with, as we all know, the famous Cold Stone Killer dude. So it's like, I'm already dealing with a creepy stalker who is a well-known pred and all this shit, and he's very fucking weird and obsessive towards me and shit. But when it comes to Timothy, it's just the weird part. He's not a predator or anything. It's just the weird part where it's like he wants friends, and if you say no, he's gonna stalk you and push your boundaries till you make that commitment to be his friend. And it's like, that's not how you should be making friends, and that's something how I don't think that's just how you fucking do it, but I guess that's just how he does it. But with his behavior of stalking me, he can sit there saying, well, I haven't done anything in 2 months, and then admit saying that he has stalked me. It doesn't matter if he hasn't done it in 2 months. It's the fact that he still did it. Maya was the first target for like a year, almost 2 years straight. Me, it's been like only a few months, and there'll be times where like he does give up and like, he could bother somebody else. But at the same time, it's like I don't want him to do that same shit that he's done to not just Maya, which Maya isn't everybody's cup of tea. But it's like, if he can stalk Maya for almost 2 years, who's to say that he's not going to do that same treatment to me or anybody else, especially those who are mainly women? So, there was also a few times that Timothy, I forgot to bring this up, but I'm going to mention it now. There is older videos where I caught him where he was in Milo's live streams about the whole Kira situation, telling Milo, saying, well, you guys could just move on and stop bringing drama into this, da 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 da, when it wasn't really drama, it was serious shit about the Kira thing. And the one time I told Timothy why he was in these live streams, or why he was getting into a situation he knows nothing about, and he only knew a little bit about Kira and was kissing her ass and was up her ass heavily. And so when I mentioned something about it, he got mad, through a tantrum, and he was also stalking me whenever I was in Milo's live streams, or like Skinny's live stream, or anybody's live streams. So, not only did it make me uncomfortable, but it pissed me off, because it was like, we already had this conversation, and it kind of repeats itself no matter how many times we talk to you about your behavior, and you just throw a tantrum. But that's one thing I have noticed plenty of different times with Timothy. And I don't know if he still stalks me now. I mean, he already admitted that he does. It's clear as fucking day. He admitted it in Kashiba's live stream that he still stalks me. So there's no doubt in there that he still does. But because he keeps getting caught, he's not going to say anything now. But it's obvious that he still does. You don't have to like talk or anything. You can still have those behaviors. I don't know if that would make sense, but that's my history and testimony about Timothy. And I really hope he gets his shit together, but I doubt it.
So the reason that I find all of this thoroughly intriguing is because Timothy has accused other people of stalking in the past as well. In December 2023, he had a run-in with Caitlin Hahn. Caitlin Hahn is a well-known child predator in the My Little Pony community in her state of Illinois. Here is my problem. My problem is he is accusing this woman of stalking him for the last year, but he is also doing the same thing to women on YouTube. What I find absolutely fascinating is the hypocrisy of, you can't stalk me, stop stalking me, leave me alone, when he is doing exactly the same thing to other people. Now, I remember when I had an interaction with Timothy while I was covering Caitlin, and he made it very well known that Caitlin was harassing him. What I always found to be a problem is Timothy is an adult. I believe now he's 20. At the time, he was 19 years old. And he always made a lot of this stuff about himself. And that has kind of bled into other facets of his life. He was in my Discord not too long ago, and he was basically just outright talking about himself almost every day, and conversations were incredibly one-sided to the point where several people, not just myself, were just getting very annoyed. And I said to people, you know what, if you just want to bully him, go right ahead, I don't care. And I just went back to doing whatever it is I was doing. Frankly, I don't care if adults get bullied on the internet. That's not really my problem. My priority for the most part is people who are being weird or doing inappropriate things with children. Again, what I will say, I don't believe that Timothy has done anything predatory to children in the past. I don't know that he really has those tendencies. Again, I've interacted with some people like this before, and it's very difficult for me to ascertain sometimes on whether or not a person is a child predator. And because it could be anybody. It could be a next door neighbor, it could be a friend, it could be anybody. Nobody truly knows. What I will say though, I distinctly remember Timothy being in a server with mostly children, one of them being 11 years old. But at the time, these were victims of Caitlyn, so I don't know that I necessarily believe Timothy was doing anything nefarious. I do think that being friends with children, however, especially as young as 11, is very strange. I don't think there's any reason why a 20-year-old man would be talking to an 11 or 12-year-old. It just sounds rather bizarre, and I'm not sure that he knows how bizarre that it is. But what I will say is to openly confess on a child's livestream to stalking women is very bizarre. It's very strange. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would join a child's livestream with the intent of talking about me or talking about anything else. To add a point to this, the child's live stream, he's 17 years old, his name is Kashiba, and he has roughly about 7,000 subscribers. His content is watched by a lot of people. It's mostly just brain rot. It's not really a channel that I would say makes content in its own right. It just kind of is there. It just exists. So I wouldn't necessarily say that, to be honest, anything about that channel is noteworthy. He's covered things before, and I'll say the same thing that I say to every 16 or 17-year-old getting involved with child predatory stuff or getting involved with adult situations. Just kind of stay away from it, because you personally don't have the mental fortitude to deal with adult issues. Hence why adult is usually seen as 18 years old, not 17 years old. So in my eyes, if you're 17, you are still a child and you have a lot to learn. I don't care if you say, I'm a young adult. No, you're not. You are not a young adult until you are at least fucking 21. And I will stand by that point for the rest of my life. I do find it fascinating, again, like I will say, that Timothy is the kind of person to accuse somebody else of stalking, even though he has been well known to do so for the last couple of years, to the point of making somebody like Maya Glaze feel uncomfortable. It's just very strange to me. And I don't really know what else I can say on the matter other than that, but I will link the 3-hour call that Vampiric Ruins had with Timothy. And what I do want to say, of course, there are a couple of people in that video who are no longer associated with Vampiric. Many of them have been exposed for doing their own thing that they shouldn't have been doing and being bizarre. Again, like I will say, Vampiric stated in the recording that she was helping Maya at the time, and we all know what Maya is now, so it's not really a surprise. So really, I think that's all I can add on Timothy. I just find it very bizarre that the guy was complaining about the police being called on him 3 times by Caitlyn. Meanwhile, he was stalking several women on YouTube, constantly commenting on their posts and trying to be their friend, demanding to be their friend. I just find it very strange, and I don't really think that Timothy is in any position whatsoever to call anybody a fucking stalker.